Alright guys. Dude, you guys are spamming like crazy. It's freaking awesome. Just make sure not to get one of those global bans. Alright, I think we got a ton of stuff to go through. Which is great. Just a happy little accident there, fam. Oh, those are awesome. Dude, you guys are spamming some good ones. Alright, gonna move the Discord over here so I can see what I'm doing. Alright. Alright, so first off we've got Corey. Let me just read chat here before continuing forward. So this one is from Corey. It looks like just going for baking and texturing. Has this been baked, Corey? I need to get my Epic pen. So right now I'm not sure if this is baked or if this is just viewport. So first things first, not baked yet. Okay, cool. So first things first, there is if this is the low poly, I assume. There's, make sure I get some good colors. So this edge, like I'm seeing these edge points, or where the verts are, where the angle shifts. Make sure to add like another loop in there on each one of these. Just get that rounded out and smoothed nicely. Figure out how these meet together. I think maybe in Substance Painter you could bake it just like this, and in Substance Painter just paint some weld on like its own separate layer. You can weld these on. It'd be super cool looking. Make sure that this gets a good roundness to it. Right now it's kind of, wow, that actually, I drew that okay, that's weird. Make sure that's got a good roundness to it so it doesn't look low poly. The goal is to just try and remove anything that kind of cues into this being geometry. So the more you add there, the better. With that rounding also here, you're having the same problem that you are with these. So just make sure that this has the extra edges as well. And that should round out pretty nicely. That is a nice yellow line you have there. Oh, why, thank you. The weld pattern stuff you could probably do here as well. Or something to help connect it. Maybe if you add little bracket points or something. I don't know, that kind of looks weird. That looks a little stylized. Maybe welding. See how it's attached in any reference you have. The only other thing I would say, think about what this material is versus this material and why that's exposed the way it is. That'll tell you. You can tell something with this. Like I mean, you can run like tubes through here, like a medium-sized one and some smaller ones, and then have them go up a wall. You can have them come over to the outside and then enter in through here, and maybe this goes down this and to the floor, into the floor or something. Just something to give reason to the gap there. Also make sure that this is just like an art thing. This length here and this length here, make sure those aren't equal. Like just kind of like the rules of thirds on that. Like take this point, maybe move it here, just so it's a little bit more offset. It doesn't have to be that much either. It could be here as well. also think about how everything is connected together. You could probably do it with stamps in Substance Painter afterwards. Like you make a bolt, not there, but like, let's do it on the side here. So let's say you make a bolt, or you have a bolt brush in Substance Painter, and then just stamp it down around these so that you can see how everything is attached together. The other thing too is like, is this whole piece, like all of this, is that all part of the cap? And if so, how does it connect? Like usually you see this, make this a little bit thicker. Usually you'll see like a seam, like a line between two separate pieces, and then bolts that are here too, and then the bolts are on the other side that you can't see because of the angle. The bolts are on the other side to fasten those together. So just think about how everything is connected together and how it was built. And that's probably the biggest thing for helping make a asset look believable. It's just how things are slapped together. Maybe you could add like a bracket here, or something that's helping attach to this, and then maybe there's a weld on that or something. I don't know. I'm just trying to come up with some stuff. Look at other panels too, because right now this shape is really simple, and then it's got all the buttons, so the details in the middle are pretty good. They could use maybe a small bit of spacing between the keys, but how this connects to the base. So like if you were to look at it from side view, right now you've got, here's the tube, right? And from side view, the panel comes out like this. Doing things like extruding this out and bringing it down so that you have like a bevel, or not a bevel, an edge. You guys got me saying bevel. Something that helps show that it's like connected in some way. And then there you can fake bolts in like the normal painting in Substance Painter or something. So you have your bolts there. And yes, now I can actually say the word bevel. Make sure that this bevel, it looks like it's there. Make sure it's wide enough so that it doesn't look like geometry. But yeah, I think I'll leave it at that for now. It's looking cool. It needs all those little things that help sell it as a single asset that's actually grounded in the way that it's built. This is pretty crazy. This one is from Blue. More progress on texturing, applying the advice from the last stream, and experimenting with Painter. Still some stuff to add. So this is pretty freaking cool. The colors of this are really nice. This stuff's a little weird. I think just because of the way, like this one's especially strange. I think it's just the way that it's chipping. We'll do this. So I'll mark all the things that feel strange to me right now in yellow. So this is weird and this is weird. Yeah, I think those are the things that feel strange. Our mark with this pink thing, this pink fire. Yeah, dude, the colors are like really close to like stock photo, especially with the way the ground is lit and the shadows and stuff. So this is cool. These look awesome. These little nicks and damage stuff is nice. I noticed that you have the dirtiness down here, like this darker kind of muted color, and it ends about right here. That's awesome because it helps ground it. A lot of the damage and detail that you're adding, I see you're adding it into your roughness, or at least it looks like it. This stuff, I don't know if you guys can see that in the stream. That is very effective, very, very effective. Those are the little details that you end up seeing in a photo that you don't necessarily think about when you're building an asset. That type of detail is what's needed, in my opinion, to get the surface to read like you would see in real life. Like, we don't think about that extra layer of detail in the roughness itself. Roughness has a ton of information in it, even though it is only just black and white. Let's go back to yellow here. So getting some edge wear, or it doesn't even have to be edge wear. Maybe that edge wear is just roughness shifting. Think about where dirt and or soot type stuff builds up, or grime that diffuses the reflective properties of the material. And then I would just, look at your reference and see if there's anything that you're missing material-wise, because I feel like anything that I'm saying, like chipping or aging-wise, could be overdone really easily and look very gamey. The handle, or the dial thing, why can't I think of the name? The rotator thingamabob. I'm like, my brain's melting. What is this called, guys? What is this? What is it? It's my brain's spacing. It's like a valve. Yes, thank you, Blue. Thank you. So this valve is also suffering from that low poly look. You can see it especially here. Don't worry about that wheel. It's a wheel, guys. It's a fucking wheel. Add more geo on that just to make sure that it's round. Turny thing. Make sure that this feels very like inflated right now, or rubbery. Maybe that's the material that it's supposed to be. I like that a lot of the wear is happening on the outside, because that's where you grab it, right? That damage is probably going to be darker. I'm not sure though. Double check your reference and see how that works out. And then just look at the interaction between, like, how these circular pieces meet, how this gold turns into this blue paint, and just how all these interact together. Like, is there gunk and stuff inside of here that's kind of built up? Felipe, what's up? It's paint chipped? Okay. Maybe adding a slight depth to the paint will help with that, like a normal. And then make sure that the roughness between these two, or these two materials is different. The gunk, the goods. Yeah, this looks awesome though. Oh yeah, and to scroll up, this is pretty cool. Make sure not to overdo it on the damage to the text itself, but the font nails it. And then these might be more gold in property. I'm not sure. Again, your reference will tell you. But yeah, dude, when you look at it in Discord, it looks like the photo, which is insane. Anywho, cool, looking cool. It really came a long way from the last pass that you had on it. All right, this is Joe, and this is the oil tank. Too big. Should I make small? Made top. Mainly topo critique. Okay, so. I mean, that's, yeah. I'm trying to think of how to, this is pretty detailed, but I think if this is the resolution you're going for, your topology looks pretty clean. The way that these are floating on the Shit screenshot. The way that these are floating on the wheel, I think will be okay. It depends. I mean, do those all need to be the same piece, or either way? This looks. I would go for some higher res screenshots, but other than that, this looks fine to me. Like, you look like you're adding enough geometry to maintain roundness where it needs to be round. And I don't know if you're going for real time on this, so. But yeah. Just higher res screenshots is all, I think. As far as this one goes, this one's too early, I think, to tell like what it looks like. Make sure that the oil tank, maybe shape-wise, I don't know if they're round like that or how the end caps off. Reference is going to be your best friend. Okay. This one's head trip. Progress, overtime shots. Need advice on last one if you have time. Oh, we got time, man. We got the time. So this is the original one. We critiqued that one. Looks like the difference is there's a little bit more wear around here. Let me see what else is going on here. The vine work. So the vine work is interesting because I like how it's away from the body because it's giving space between those. But you might want to maybe do that out here and then have it get really close, like, because it grabs onto to whatever it's climbing, right? Unless that's the look you're going for. Like how it's happening over here is really good. Let's keep going down and we'll see what else we got here. So yeah, right now these are really loose. How they're gripping up on the top is pretty good. I don't know if you're planning on adding grass cards to this. I would totally add grass cards to this. And then in your normal, soften out that edge. Let's see here. In general, I think you just need material interaction. Like you're trying to do it here with the grass on the bottoms of the rocks. When you just need cards of grass to help you sell that look. Because in reality, when a rock is meeting the ground, most of the time it's usually dirt or some moss that's growing on it. Maybe you're going for moss. But that type of interaction's pretty... It feels odd in the way that you've done it so far. So these guys, I would... Just to like reiterate on everything, these guys I would tuck close to the body. This stuff, for the most part, looks okay. Let me look at the reference again. You need to get a good block out pass on some leaves. These leaves that are up here. That'll help a lot. And then I know that, so the concept is really stylized. So I would totally, I wouldn't try and make, unless you want to be realistic, I wouldn't try and make the materials look real. I would go for a more painterly look. You can get pretty nice results with removing these smaller details that you're doing and going for more broad color passes. And then edge highlighting with paint instead of I guess you could use a generator like in Substance Painter, right? But be friendlier with your colors, like more cutesy, I guess. Like this one's kind of doing it. It just needs some variation in the colors. And this one's even closer to the colors. Like there's like gradients on the ground and stuff. I wonder, man, that would be weird. When we need to do a departure episode of the stream, I'll do a stream where we just texture something by painting the textures instead of like trying to make them realistic. But yeah, all right, let's keep going. Oh yeah, so this is the mesh you were talking about, where you're like, dude, it's like so low res. Oh geez. Is there any other images? No. Okay. Yeah, you like that, Lewis? I think that would be I think that could be fun. So I have not downloaded your mesh. Let me see if I can find it. It's 9:24. We're doing okay on time, I think. Cool, line force. I'll keep that in mind just in case. I have to see how this mesh is formatted first. Sorry guys, it'll be a second. Oh man, that's sexy. Yeah, that's awesome. Okay. Yeah, we're going to yeah again. Okay, ZBrush. Save this. Oh shit. What have I done? Ha ha. That's awesome. Make sure not to save that. Okay, so we got this mesh. Man, that is it's good stuff. Let's duplicate that. So thickness wise is a little bit of an issue. Let's so what you can do to try and solve the thickness thing is I think there's a extract. So at the bottom of the subtool, I don't know how well this is going to work on this asset, but if you do an extract, you can set a thickness and it will attempt to add thickness to the mesh. Oh geez. No. Let's see if we can. So it was at 0.02. Let's try 0.995. That's no. Oh, I see what's happening. So you can keep tuning the values. Okay, let's see. So this one's got the thickness to it. You see that? So now you've got thickness. That's going to help a little bit with the, man, the underside. That's going to be difficult. But now that you have that, you could do you could duplicate it. So we take this top one, we deformation, let's inflate a little bit like that. Okay, let's exaggerate quite a bit. Basically, we're trying to fill all the gaps, and then let's dynamesh that. See how this works. I'm just running this all in my head to see how this would possibly work. Okay, and then we could do a brush, smooth, and then we want to do peaks and valleys, so we'll do valleys first. So that'll fill in all the crevices. We need to do a smooth in general. Man, this is a really weird approach to this. It looks really gross right now. Let's see how well this works out. Anywho, okay, let's we'll go. Is it Z plugin? No, I think it's geometry. You missed the beginning. So what they're trying to figure out is best way to make a low poly for this, and we're experimenting with one of the ways in my head. Just keep smoothing this out. So I got this blob, right? Let's do just put it on a plane and call it a day. But if you want the depth, like if you want the volume to it, right? Then you're gonna want, if you want that height. Dude, look at that. When I made a thickness, it gave me the other side. Oh, that's fucking cool. But ship it to another country. That's amazing. So let's try a remesh of this. I have no idea what this resolution is. Let's see what happens. What the? Hang on. No, that's wrong. I just did like a mirroring remesh. Yeah, you could just stay with a simple plane, model topology on top of it, and then just bake the depth to it. I'm trying to, what was the, let's see what happens here. This might crash it. Anywho, what I'm thinking is you do this volume, you remesh it. You remesh it, and then you just project the volume that you've made, the blob, back to the space, and then bake that. Because basically what I'm doing is I'm trying to fill in all the gaps, which is not really working all that well. Like there's some crazy shit going on in there. and then shrink wrap that blob, right? Like, where's the Z remesher? I forget. I always forget things. Do you guys recall where Z remesher is? Geometry? Geometry. Z remesher, thank you. Let me see what, so let's Z remesh this and see what happens to it. So my idea is that you inflate it, you smooth it out, you make a Z remesh of that, and then you shrink wrap it to the original shape to see how close it gets. Let's see what happens here, and if that doesn't work, then we'll just move on to the next one. I'm basically trying things, which doesn't always work out, you know. The Decimation Master could do a pretty good job of it, I think. See, what I'm looking for is this like lower, like cleaner topology. And then let me see if this is, it's like it doesn't want to project, which is super dumb. It's like half projecting. It's just not even, it's like it's proportion projecting. Anyways, let me just delete this one and we'll just run a Decimation Master on this, and let me see, because this is pretty clean mesh already. And I mean, honestly, for something you're building that's like this, see, by adding the thickness, that's a nice blob you got there. By adding the thickness, you've added a backside to it, which allows you, while you're decimating, to maintain your shape much easier. This is probably how I would do it. And then just find a value that where you don't lose too much of the shape. So if we turn, let's say we turn, let's go to like flat color. And you basically want to avoid hard edges. So like for the most part, minus some areas up there. What is this? Active points 11. So for what you're doing here, that resolution right there, delete the underside that had been created. Like you can tell it to maintain its polygroups. And then you can select that polygroup, delete it so that you have the backsides removed. That will cut the poly count in half from what it is right now, which is, I mean, we're looking at active points, so it doesn't really help too much in telling you what you're looking at. But deleting the underside and then having this unwrapped will give you a pretty good result, I think. This should be pretty easy to unwrap as well because it's kind of like that one uniform mesh. I think this would work. And you just have to make sure to delete the underside. Resolution wise, this is going to be fun because what the look you're trying to sell, you could pay for that. Like what if it was in a game, you would just, once you leave the room, you just lot it out immediately. It's like there's no LODs to it. It's there and then it's gone. 22K? Oh, thanks. What are we looking at here? Right, but that's 22,000 tries, right? So it'll be 11,000. Yeah. For the detail you're trying to sell here, 11,000 in-game, sure. Sure. Anywho, yeah. let's move on so I can keep, man, this is a sexy mesh though. Like, look at, it's like it was sewn together. Okay. Back to this guy. Yeah, don't go this low. Don't worry about it being too high detailed. So this looks pretty sick. I would say it's time for you to move on because the materials look pretty good. The detail on this bench area here is really nice now. You've got this really rough scratch pattern, which is kind of like where everyone sits. Maybe adding a little bit of that to this edge here of that same roughness value, and then you're done. Actually, the side of this box feels stretched. Maybe scale it in a little bit, and then you're good. Other than that, everything here looks pretty fucking cool. Why can't I move this? That's cool. I can move. Anyways, looks great, and the ground is like with the shadows and stuff. I think it looks pretty good. Nice. So given the dude, this is awesome. This looks, yeah, you're nailing it, man. I would say, let me see here, make sure I would say the only thing that looks weird is this spot right here. Try and figure out what's happening there. Maybe blend it in a little bit more on the top or something. But other than that, I would just decimate this down. Get a good unwrap going on it. And call it good. I don't know if decimate, maybe Z-remesh. Because Z-remesher is pretty freaking good. Like if I went this is great. Let's see here. So if I go to like this one, for example, like this is all sculpted up, right? The Z-remesh of this Z-remesher is pretty fucking impressive. Give me a second here. We'll see how this looks. I bet I didn't turn it down low enough. But like, look how clean that is. Let's undo that and we'll lower it down to like, let's put the target at 1. I think that's 1,000. No problem, Blue. This piece that we're looking at right now, oh yeah, look at that. You could do a Z-remesh on this and you'd be in a good spot. Where is Tay Discord? Not that one, this one. This is by, I just want to make sure I get it right. This is by Abel. But yeah, I think with a Z-remesh, it'll allow you to unwrap really easily. Get your UVs all set up. Bake it. Bake it good. And then I would suggest going with tileable materials and then blending between them with masks. If you're putting that into Unreal. Material-wise, this is looking much better. DevG. I'm just going to say DevG. The paint looks better. There's less noise. I would still remove more noise from this, or at least the contrast in the noise. I would remove more of the chipping that's happening in this paint. Make it a little bit more solid. Uses UV Master and ZBrush. Yeah, that works. If it gets you what you need. You're adding a lot of noise in the way that you're breaking up your materials. Try and avoid adding all that noise just because it ends up coming off very noisy. And I think making your concrete or the pipes a slightly different range of the same value will give you a nice look. Just because you'll get a separation between the two materials. I'm trying to think if there's other. And then under here, make sure to have something like either dripping or dirty down there, or like gunk building up, like the kind of the dirtiness that happens when nothing gets there. Crevice is dirty. Crevice is dirty. It's definitely less noisy than the first time around, which is good. Yeah, cool. The paint looks better as well. Hey, look at that. All right, couch time. Wait, where did the other couch go? Wasn't there another? Oh, they got posted on top of each other. Hang on here. Sheets. There it is. Okay, so here's the couch from Curious Antics. Mom spaghetti. Crevice is dirty. Mom spaghetti. He's got crit on his shirt. Mom spaghetti. All right, here's the other one. Okay, so the sculpt of this. So this is being done in ZBrush, which is pretty crazy. I would suggest, like, do you want these to be deflated like this? Is that the goal? To have them like deflated? Is this a? Let me read the stuff. So if your model isn't final, I wouldn't even worry about texturing right now. This looks like a burnt version. It's pretty gnarly. It looks burnt and aged beyond belief. If you're gonna have it this aged and have it like deflated like this, I would definitely. This is where Marvelous will come in handy. If you can cut these out and have some of them kind of like flap over, and you can start to see the inside of the couch, that'll help sell the flappiness of it. And then also make sure to, I know that these aren't final or anything, make sure to separate out all your materials. So like this is probably wood, right? This will have a dip in it from all of the sitting. Make sure that materials are separated, and this are probably supposed to be the same. Yeah. Mom spaghetti. This feels really strange to me. I've never seen a couch doing that. I mean, maybe if it was torn up some, I would understand the aging behind it. But like, nice. What is happening? Let's see if I can't do this. So with the creases that you're doing, they're kind of like, I'm just gonna super shitty draw this. So you've got creases going on like that, right? Shit, they're totally backwards too. Let's just do this. Okay, so what I would do in ZBrush is try and mask this out. I'm doing such a great job of this. Blur that out, and then mask the outside. Actually, hang on here. This is a really weird way to do couch stuff. Just gonna bring this in more. I don't know if this is even gonna work. But there is a inflate brush. No, that's not gonna work because the mask is too sharp. Soften that out. But yeah, it's like you need to be able to inflate those. Inflate these. It feels really weird to me that they're so... Okay, we got reference. Yes, even these are a bit more inflated than the base. Right now, these little insect crevice pieces in yours, I'm like, where is it? In yours, those are coming out when they should be going in. If those go in, you'll be fine. So right now you've got these are doing this. So like you've got your fabric going and then they do that when they should be doing this. So they can stay really flat like that. Those just need to invert because right now it actually feels like someone put the material on inside out and then was like, oh fuck, after they were done sewing, what have I done? And then materialize, make sure to separate the materials, and then I wouldn't even worry about texturing it until you feel like the high poly looks good, your sculpt. Okay, this one, I'm going to just start blasting through these so I make sure to get everyone. This is Jamie McAndrew. They look like they're going in the reference, which I closed. You're like, wait, what? So this is Jamie McAndrew. Sorry for the number of images. Latest World War II or World War I trench scenes. Still loads to do before handed in. Feedback and stuff is always helpful. So this is looking pretty good. Materials are looking pretty nice down here. So you're doing a little bit of interaction with this stuff. We call this the scree. It's the same stuff as like rocks that fall off a cliff and they build up at the base of it and they kind of build upwards. The scree. So right now your scree is doing this. Totally get like a nice mud mask up the sides of this because these get so gross and muddy and disgusting. Get mud all over this stuff. Get ones that are broken and they kind of dip down. And then fill that with water, so there's like puddles and stuff. Definitely look at how they were doing it in Battlefield. These are pea puddles, just so we're clear. And then I think for the most part that should help in selling some of that detail. I think the density of the props is pretty good. I would add some geometry and ding up the wood edges just in a few spots so that it's not so straight. Right now these are very straight edged. These are really straight. Don't be afraid to add like another 100, 200 polys to these wood panels to get them to be just a little bit off, or the end piece to be doing that instead of that. Like totally add those extra verts if you need to in order to get that shape. Lighting wise, this feels really nice. I totally agree, Lewis. And I like how these panels look like they're further out than this one. That's really cool. It needs, right now it's very dry and it needs that layer of like it's always wet and raining and miserable. Maybe if you need to tell a story somewhere, like right now there's not much of a story happening. If you need to tell a story, maybe some pieces of wood that have fractured, that are floated, like that have landed around here, and then maybe like a scorch mark or like a dark spot on the wall that lets you know that a grenade had gone off down there. But yeah, the lighting is ace, and it will look really good once you start to get that wet, like damp feel. Like make sure the wood is a little bit more saturated as well where it is wet, that'll go a long way. But yeah, your lighting is really fucking badass. And it's got a nice warmth to it, even though it's not like too warm. It's great. This is good. Yeah, it just needs that extra layer of details and storytelling. If you could, dude, just put some scratches on the side here. Maybe someone scratched their name in this or something. I don't know. I like storytelling inside of a scene. Makes it feel like it's lived in. But yeah, reflections, puddles and stuff. Super wet, damp. Ah, it's going to look so good. It's going to look so good. This is like getting there. It's getting close. Look at this shot too. Yeah, there's a lot of play happening, which is really cool. This stuff up here looks like you haven't spent much time on it, mainly because the focus is down in the trenches. I would just... so right now you've got cross. We'll just go... This is like side view, and you're doing this. So if we look from the top, it's more like this, and then you're doing that. I would just go the mile and take this guy, bend him a little bit, like make the endpoints like this. Maybe angle this one a little bit more, and then make these coils not perfect, and then make another one that's just next to it where the coils are kind of messed up as well, and then bring that in as an asset that you can position to build walls and layers of it, right? And if you need to, take them and push some of them in the dirt so that you get that height variation as it goes out. That'll work wonders for you. And it will hide the illusion that this is like a cylinder looking shape. Yeah, just lattice the fuck out of that. Anyways, awesome stuff. Oh, I love this too. If that goes indoors, I would love to see like more of a maybe a warm light coming out of there, letting you know that maybe they're inside, like resting or something. I don't know if that's a doorway though. Super cool. Okay, we got a sculpt from. We got 5 minutes to go through 6 images. I'm gonna say your name wrong, but Muradad. Looks like you're sculpting some details here. This is pretty cool. A lot of the times these days, what people tend to do is there's a couple approaches. You can sculpt these shapes out, or you can actually make this guy, right? Make him, and then push him into the plane, and then push him into the plane, and then dynamesh him, and then soften out the edges, and then start sculpting on them. The nice thing about doing it that way is it allows you to position the animal and change the pose based on what you need it to be doing. But that's more of like if you're going for a bigger scene where you're going to need to reuse stuff often. That's something from game development that I've like developed a habit for, is like, you're like, why would you go this far to do something that you could just do it this one way, simple? And it's like a thing that you get into when you get into games where essentially you're trying to solve a lot of stuff with one thing. So if you do it that way, then you can like use the animal, scale it up, put it on a bigger facade outside of a building. It's like more reuse is better. But I mean, this is looking pretty cool. I think if you pinch where the legs are a bit on these edges here, and soften out that edge there with the trim dynamic brush, you could probably soften out those harder edges, or those edges where it's lifting up into the relief. Fully procedural material. Dude, this looks like some stylized wood. Are you going for stylized? This is cool. This looks awesome. The only thing I would say is like zooming out, like I don't see a separation of like where there's wood panels. I don't know if that's what you're going for though. Like, are you doing stuff like this? If so, like adding little little nails and stuff would be cool. But if you're not going for that, then I mean, it looks pretty awesome already. Variation in there is pretty nice. Colors look good. It looks stylized. It looks painterly, which is cool. Oh yeah, you're doing it here as well. Oh man, and you're using the dreaded straight line. Oh, you posted a finished version of it? Oh man. All right. Well, maybe I'll get to it because I gotta make sure I get through all this stuff with you guys. This looks cool. It's a little posterized. Like these edges might be a little. It looks a little generated still. Maybe softening that out, like a blur on it would fix that. It's way up there. Okay. Noted. Noted. All right. Okay, so this looks pretty cool. What's this white stuff on the ground there? What's this white stuff, dude? What is that? Res? What's going on here? In general, this looks pretty cool. I really like the... Dude, head trip, isn't it? It's super inspiring, man. So I really like the wood paneling, and I like these little fragments and stuff everywhere. I would suggest, like I think I said this already, but the wood paneling, getting it to be more round is going to give you that diorama feel, which I think is what you would like. So if you can get that round shape, and then you just like, you know, do your wood shapes like you want, like this breakup here, this stuff. You can still do that and just do it in a round shape. Some comments on material colors and stuff like that. This is hard to read at this angle at least, and maybe if it was a little bit longer and it draped on the ground, then I would understand what that is. The blood is really light still. I would expect it to probably be darker. And then I don't know if it's blood or fragments. If it's fragments, making it a little bit lighter will help you see it on the ground easier. And then the other thing I would say is maybe taking the wood on the axe and making it slightly darker or slightly lighter so that you can see it separate of the table or of the bench. Table-wise, all the stuff there is pretty cool. It doesn't really feel like there's as much of a center to the table. So maybe adding a few more candles or like a skin, a mat or something in the middle will help. And then yeah, I'm not sure what this white stuff is. This white powdery stuff. It looks powdery. That's what you're going for. That's cool. Looks powdery. Know that if it's powdery and there's some scuffling, some fighting going on and stuff in here, one footprint, a couple other footprints, and then starting to get some of the powder into the little crevices is gonna help sell the powderiness of it. Just blowing around, it's getting caught in crevices and it's just kind of staying put. Other than that, I think let me make sure I'm not. Why? What is going on here? Yeah, I think that pelt being shorter or being longer and then getting onto the ground is going to help with the read of it. This angle is stronger. It's just quite a bit closer. Oh yeah, see there's coins on the ground too. See, I'm not even catching those right now. Maybe turn the roughness down on those so that they shine a little bit more. Let me see about this. So this, if you press L now, you see the histogram. Like this range is a bit more preferable for what you're trying to show. Obviously the colors are all fucked up now, But like you want to get, in a histogram, you want to get this. Like that shape right there. Just because it tends to be the most visually pleasing and most realistic. Now, because I've done that, your saturations are all kind of crazy, so we can just tone that back down. And then kind of bring it back in line. Let me see here. Yeah, see how washed out this looks now versus this one? And your darks might be a little strong in what I've done as well, because you got to be careful with that. But yeah, like you're not even utilizing any of the brightness in your range. Like if I did this and made this layer, so we got an orange layer behind there. So you're not using like any of this space, so that's all lost information, right? So just to emphasize that. Basically, you're only using about 50% of your full range. You don't start seeing it bleeding in until around like 50 of 255. That's super low. Get the full range, and then you can use post-processing to lower that down. All right, guys. It is 10:04. I got to get out of here. Thanks for posting stuff. Thanks for being patient. Well, we got spammed by porn on the Discord. That was super fun. Not really, but it was super fun. It's a good test to exercise. Instigator, you're here just in time to say goodbye to me. I'm so sorry. I still love you. No, thank you for tonight. You guys posted some really good stuff. As the Empire salutes you. And thanks for the stream emojis. I think if I switch to this camera, does it spam? I don't know if it's on this screen. Probably not. Maybe I should add that. Spam bot maintenance training. That's totally what it was. Where are we at here? Media source, browser source, Discord live, emoji screen. Boom. There you go. All right, guys. I will check you guys later. Thanks for hanging out. Yeah. I will get these on YouTube, and there's a couple of videos I actually need to post, total of all the past broadcasts. All right, guys. Peace out. Enjoy the song. I'll see you guys later.